Good afternoon and welcome to Nutmeg Sports on the HAM Network. Frank Granito alongside Kevin Coleman back in the studio after an exciting week of the FCIAC postseason. We are now off and running with the 2017 CIAC tournaments. We got girls volleyball on the air yesterday, Kev. Girls soccer getting underway today. We've got a lot to catch up on, but a lot of fun last week seeing all the FCIAC tournaments come to fruition, and I felt the champions, a lot of what we expected, but the champions themselves performed to the level they needed to get there.
They did. How about the Greenwich Cardinals for boys soccer and girls volleyball, taking home 2 championships in a matter of 3 days? That's huge for that high school. And for Saturday afternoon volleyball, you look at what happened between St. Joe's and Greenwich, the dominance of the Greenwich Cardinals. I don't think a lot of people expected that going into Saturday afternoon at 3:30 at Ludlow. I think a lot of people expected St. Joe's and Greenwich to go down to that final 5th set, and look what happened. Greenwich absolutely dominated the Cadets, and they just looked, after that first set, St. Joe's already looked defeated. It was rather surprising, but at the same time, we knew what to expect from this Greenwich team. We've seen them throughout the season. We knew how good Maggie Egan was. A great performance on Saturday, and I thought that was a nice way to kind of wrap up the FCIAC postseason here on the HAM Network.
And it really did. You're right. St. Joseph looked defeated, and it's not a knock on St. Joseph this year because they played extremely well in the tournament, and I thought they did a good job continuing off a tremendous season. At a certain point in time, their luck was going to run out. And ultimately, what it came down to, was just Greenwich the better team on the floor that day. They'd already lost twice to St. Joe's. It's tough enough to beat a team in this conference twice. Now you got to do it 3 times. But I think Greenwich, their experience of being in the semis last year, they knew what it took, how to build off of that experience. And with so much senior leadership on that roster, they were able to close down the strap.
They were, and again, that's where you saw the dominance of Maggie Egan. I thought she was so strong for Greenwich on Saturday afternoon. I thought defensively too, they were able to pass the ball really nicely. It was just an overall great performance by Greenwich as a team, and I thought the players that came on and off the bench, the depth players as well, the role players really stepped up big. Yeah, it was a really, really nice game to watch. And again, I was really surprised, Frank. I know it was a sweep and everything, but I really expected that game to go 5 sets. At that point, it's really anyone's game, but I really did not expect Greenwich to come out and be that dominant, and St. Joe's looked that defeated.
Well, talking about surprises, let's fast forward to yesterday afternoon. We were at West Hill High School. We had the first round of the Class XXL Girls Volleyball Championships, a rematch of a game from the finale of the regular season. The Vikings hosting the Rams of New Canaan. You go back to October 28th. The Rams and Vikings, essentially, Kevin, a play-in game to get into the FCIAC tournament. West Hill on the road leading 2-1, but then all of a sudden, the Rams fans come inside from the bonfire during homecoming week, pack the gym, and the energy completely flipped. Fast forward to yesterday, we felt a lot of the same happenings. The Vikings up 2-1 again, this time at home. But all of a sudden, some New Canaan fans have crossed enemy lines. They're packing up the Vikings gymnasium. And what happens next, that was pretty surprising as well. Let's look at the highlights from yesterday's state matchup.
It'll be Eno to serve. Here's Alston on the far side. Great work at the net. Right back to her again.
Oh, great dig.
Alston gets it to go. But now set point for the Rams.
Yeah, she didn't miss by much.
Long run for Thegoris. And now free ball for New Canaan. It's Perino. Smart by West Hill right now, Kev. Force the Rams to make a mistake.
They're playing well defensively, too.
Back to Perino again, trying to just drop one in at the net. Here's Jessica one more time. And the Rams take set number 1. That serve is out. And the Vikings take the set, 25-20. They're tied at 1, heading to the third. Caroline Inu will head for the service line. Alstead, we're going to the 5th.
1 point away here.
Marino serve. Alstead wants it. Still alive. For the win. They got it. 15-6 is the final. And the Rams have come back to stun the Vikings again.
Congratulations to New Canaan. It is their first win in the state tournament since 2010. You talk about a team that looked defeated, Kevin. The Rams, middle of that second set, the third set, they looked lost, could not do anything right. And you just felt that West Hill was going to get their revenge yesterday. And all of a sudden, Carson Alstead started hitting some shots. Emma Wheeler's passes were a lot cleaner. Callahan with the digs doing extremely well. Perino, it all came into fruition. Once you got to that 5th set, the Vikings didn't have a chance.
Yeah, it looked like in those second and third set, it looked like Carson Alstead was a little silent. It looked like they weren't able to really find her on the court. And you're right, Emma Wheeler was a little sloppy in those 2 sets, and that's why West Hill went up 2-1. But it was also the great play. I thought Nikki Newcomer was phenomenal. I know the list goes on, but to me, she stood out the most because not only did she get some great kills, but she made some great defensive plays, kept some rallies alive for the West Hill Vikings, which ultimately led to some points, which ultimately led them to getting the second and third set. So that was a great performance by the West Hill Vikings, but I got to give credit to the New Canaan student section because they really came in yesterday and at times almost felt like they took over that gym. And I think we mentioned during the broadcast a little bit, that kind of gave New Canaan a little bit of life there in that fourth set because it brought them back. In that 5th set, it was just all New Canaan.
You mentioned Nikki Newcomer. Sophia Thagoras played so well. Samantha John Folks did such a great job. I mean, they shut Alstead out at the net for those middle sets. Then something turned. But this is a disappointing year for West Hill, only in the sense that you missed out on FCX by a game in a tiebreaker. You lose in the first round of states in a heartbreaker. The Vikings were so much better than their record, and what their postseason looked like will show. But for me, that's just the beauty of the FCAC. You look at a team like Darien. Darien played against Greenwich yesterday in the first round of the state tournament. They get blanked 3-0, Kev. They're a better team than a 3-0 shutout in the first round of states. We've actually got the girls volleyball bracket. Let's start at the top of the bracket. And a pleasant surprise here is the defending state champion Stanford Black Knights won their first matchup in the tournament yesterday, the 16 seed advancing on with a win over number 17 Hall. They were one of 6 FCX schools to advance here. They now will draw the number 1 seed Cheshire. It's a very talented Cheshire team, 18-0 this season.
And Cheshire, that's going to be a tough matchup for Stanford, but they have to go into this with a little bit of confidence, knowing that they take down Hall in 3 straight sets. Go into this game with a ton of confidence. That's ultimately what you need to do going up against a 1 seed. Just forget about it. Go in, play with confidence, play with a lot of heart, and you never know what happens.
Tough loss for Ward at the top of the bracket. A crowded middle part of the bracket there. Staples defeats McMahon 3-0. They will take on number 2 Southington now. Then you got Danbury and Trumbull meeting up again. That's going to be an exciting game. They, of course, played in the first round of the FCAC tournament. They played on the last day of the regular season. These are 2 teams very familiar with each other. I hate doing this because I love this Danbury team. I think I'm going to take the Eagles in that one.
Ooh, this is how about for Danbury? They get a home game during second round
yeah,
states.
that's awesome.
That
awesome.
is huge for this Danbury program. So I like the Hatters in this one.
All right, there we go. Let's go down to the bottom of the bracket and a very exciting matchup for the 2 of us coming up on Thursday.
I don't know. We have to plan a little something there, my friend.
Might have to find that orange wig again. Ridgefield coming off the bye. They will welcome New Canaan. If the Rams are playing the way they're playing right now, that'll be an interesting game.
It will, yeah.
Ridgefield's going to have to bounce back from a disappointing showing in the FCX semis. Then Greenwich defeats Darien at the bottom of the bracket. So the Cardinals move on. They will host Newington. I would sign up for a Greenwich-Ridgefield rematch in the quarterfinals.
I think both teams like to see each other. I think Ridgefield in general would like to see Greenwich again. But I don't know who's playing better than Greenwich right now. Even they can forget about being the 6th seed. This team is playing like a 1 seed right now. There's a good chance that Greenwich takes care of business against Newington in the second round, goes into the quarterfinals. Who knows? Maybe they match up against either the Rams or the Tigers. They got to like their chances in that one in the quarterfinals, Frank.
St. Joe's is playing in Class M. They had a bye in the first round as the #1 overall seed. They will play tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock versus number 17, Talon. Kevin and I are going to take a break. When we get back, we'll get you caught up on the boys soccer state tournament that got underway yesterday. That's next on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network.
Had a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Orthopedics Walk-In Urgent Care gives you direct access to orthopedic specialists fast without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Orthopedics Walk-In Urgent Care can help. Open 7 days a week now at 3 locations. The iPark Building at 761 Main Avenue, Norwalk, 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien, or in the Westport Medical Center at 323 Riverside Avenue, Westport. Go to coastalorthoct.com. Like them on Facebook.
At Pamby Motors, we're not worried about being the biggest dealership. We're focused on being the best. We're dedicated to giving you the best experience we can. The Pamby Motors team is here to help you choose the right Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram in a friendly, pressure-free environment. And right now, during the summer clearance event, you'll find some of our best prices too. Like this lease on a 2017 Ram Quad Cab Express for $149 a month. Visit Pamby Motors, Route 7 in Richfield, PambyZone.com.
I'm Tracy Masella, a licensed clinical social worker at Silver Hill Hospital in New Canaan. Join me each month as we talk with experts on the front lines of the treatment of mental health and addiction. Straight Talk with Tracy, a Silver Hill Hospital production, airs at 12 p.m. on the second Thursday of each month here on the HAN Network.
The leaves are changing, water temps dropping, and the sun is setting a little earlier each day. But there's still a lot of great boating, fishing, and coast time left before we see the first snow. And above all, remember, it's always summer at the Dock Shop. With loads of new fishing tackle and accessories, clothing, jewelry, and home decor, the Dock Shop is just what you need when you start to feel that New England autumn chill. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, dockshop.com.
At Budget Blinds, we're in business to frame the light, the day, and the night. So we give you an exclusive combination of high style, expert service, our no surprises pricing, and our no questions asked warranty. We believe that everyone, at every budget, deserves style and service. Isn't that a beautiful place to be?
Welcome back to the HAN Network. Nutmeg Sports with Frank Granito and Kevin Coleman. Turning our attention now to boys soccer. Take a look at that guy. Yeah, not bad, little guy. We were just talking off the air, Kev, as we're looking at the bracket. A couple of things stand out to us, obviously. Number one, what a win by Fairfield Ward over Newtown. 9-8 in PKs. That's big, obviously. Great win for Norwalk against South Windsor as a 20 seed. And now I'm a believer in the Bears. I mean, things could set up very well for them here moving forward in the tournament. And the other one for me, Fairfield Ludlow's got to be so tired of seeing Danbury in this tournament.
I know. That's just it's unlucky.
Years, you know?
It's unlucky. I'm sure Kevin O'Hara today is probably just laughing because we got draw again. We had to see Danbury again,
exactly.
A second year in a row. That is just, it's frustrating. But I'm glad you brought up Fairfield Ward because that game against Newtown last night, a place playing at Newtown, not an easy place to play to begin with. Secondly, Cormac O'Day, their goalie, was going 9th last night in the lineup for PKs. What he did was took his PK and missed it, but you'd expect him to fall apart after that, missing a PK like that. Now Newtown has the advantage. What does he do? He comes back in the net right away. Not even just right away. Next thing up, he gets the save. That's huge. He misses the PK, then he comes back and makes the save. So now after Newtown gets the advantage, now it's evened up. And then next thing you know, they take care of business in PKs because Newtown, their last taker, shot it over the bar, and that was it. And that's just a massive win for these Mustangs, considering they didn't make the FCAC tournament, and what they do against a number 8 team like Newtown, phenomenal what they did against Newtown, because this is a good soccer program over there for Newtown, and that's a tremendous win. I got to give a ton of praise for the Mustangs.
Well, they're playing in a mini FCAC tournament now. They'll get Norwalk here in the second round. The winner of that then gets the winner of Ridgefield and Staples, as you've got a couple of FCAC schools there. That side of the bracket, Kevin, particularly. So if Ward beats Newtown, Norwalk beats South Windsor, then Ridgefield beats Central in that middle part of the bracket, Staples beats Stanford. It's just another FCAC tournament essentially going on here right now. And it's unfortunate because we're seeing teams lose, but it speaks volumes to how good this conference is.
Well, it speaks, the FCAC, you're getting a representation here, but the SWC also has some great talent here as well. But
I know Suppy's in the back. Don't humor the Valley. Come on, let's go.
Well, I mean, if you have a team like Farmington in this, Frank, you have to give them some recognition, because defending state champion, this team's always in the tournament. You got to give them some love in the SWC. But you're right, the FCAC, well represented here. Tough loss. I mean, you look at that game against Staples Stanford, double overtime, just a dagger for the Black Knights and head coach Mario Caminiti.
Yeah, they've done a good job
they
this
had
year, too.
They had a great year, and it's unfortunate.
Steve, let's throw the bottom part of the bracket on there as well, because we do have Farmington coming up, and Farmington gets the FCAC champion Greenwich here. That's going to be one of the more exciting matchups I think we see all season long.
It is. I'm actually curious to see how Greenwich matches up, because that's a nice win against Hamden, and for Farmington, they beat down West Hill 5-1. Got to be a little concerned here if you're Greenwich, but they're playing with a lot of confidence right now. This is someone, talking to head coach Kurt Putnam after they won the FCAC against Trumbull, he said down the stretch, these last 3 games is the best soccer they played all season long, so you have to feel pretty good about the Cardinals going up against Farmington.
You know what else I like there? So we're going to see Trumbull and Shelton in the other matchup, and I think that's going to be a really intriguing matchup as well. But you know what I love, and I will give credit to the SWC right now. You know what I love about SWC soccer? They score goals. Both teams putting up 5 in the first round. Thank you. Somebody, thank you. Gosh.
Well, we all know Farmington can score. They have the talent. They bring back a lot this year from their defending champion team. Shelton, I'm looking forward. I'm actually going to try and get to that game tomorrow night against Trumbull, because I want to see these 2 teams go at it. We obviously know it's going to draw a big crowd. Shelton, Trumbull, so close to each other. Next, crosstown rivals in a way. But for the Gales, I'd love to see how they play at home against Trumbull, because Trumbull coming off an FCAC loss like that in the final, then taking down Cheshire, who's a talented team as well, the 19 seed, 2-0. This is going to be an interesting game. Can Shelton put up goals like they have throughout the season? They put up 5 against Hartford Public, number 30 seed. This is going to be a test for Shelton. I think they can't take this Trumbull team too lightly.
Round 2 gets after it tomorrow night. Games between 4 and 7 o'clock across the board. Yes, you can.
I just also want to quickly add, for the New Milford-Danbury matchup, Anthony Howard, the head coach of the Hatters, goes back to where he previously was against New Milford. That's another game to keep an eye on. Of course, Ridgefield Staples is another one to keep an eye on.
Well, you should do New Milford-Danbury at 2, and then make it to the Shelton-Trumbull game at 7. I'll allow it.
You can
take a camera, get away from me for the day. I don't have to talk about soccer. We do have to talk about soccer one more time when we get back after the break. We've got the girls' soccer FCAC championship game we want to break down and preview their tournament, which gets underway later on this afternoon. That's next on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network.
New Canaan Foreign Car. Yes, New Canaan Foreign Car has been servicing all makes of foreign cars for over 50 years. We also buy, sell, and consign cars too. We can help you with all your automotive needs from service to sales. Call us at 203-966-2681.
At Portofino Restaurant and Wine Bar in Bethel, fresh and simple food is our concept. Owned and operated by brothers Rocco and Louie, Portofino has a distinct and diverse food and drink menu. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Come join us for live local music on Tuesdays and Sundays, Wednesday nights for mouthwatering prime rib, and every Thursday night is ladies' night. Planning a party? All our catering menus are personalized to suit your event and your budget. Join us at the Dolan Plaza, 213 Greenwood Ave, Bethel, and call us at 203-797-8131. Like us on Facebook. We're back on Nutmeg Sports. Frank Granito with Kevin Coleman. We look at girls soccer now before we dive into the state tournament. Friday night, we were at Fairfield Ludlow's Taft Field. I finally got it right, Suppy, for the girls soccer championship. Number 1, Staples, and number 2, St. Joe's. The Cadets trying to rewrite the history of losing in back-to-back FCX championship games, and they finally got things to go their way. Maddie Freed, the freshman, with one of the best goals we've seen all year. Veronica O'Rourke, the keeper, and that back line for the Cadets keeps Staples off the board. And St. Joe's are queens of the conference again. Any thoughts? Freed on possession here. Freed, ambitious with that shot. It's in! We talked about the freshman. Maddie Freed is on the board first, number 11, with 1:11 to play in the first half. 5 seconds left. Ball into the box, heading for the back post. Mad scramble. Is it in?
It's in! It's in! It went in! That ball's in the back of the net, Frank.
The official has his hand up. St. Joe's is petitioning they've won the game. Staples is petitioning that they've tied the game. They're going to say, I think it went up and hit the crossbar, and that's the ruling. The Cadets are the 2017 FCX champions.
Before we dive fully into the logistics of that game, can you break down that final play for us? Because things got a little hectic there at the end.
Well, you saw, if you watch it in slow-mo, I know we're not going to see it in slow-mo, but if you watch it, you could see the ball come down into the 18-yard box, to the 6-yard box, and Veronica O'Rourke looked like she got a touch on it, but someone, it looked like a wrecker had a volley on it, but instead of hitting the top bar, it hit the football field goal post.
Crossbar.
And the crossbar, yes. And when that happens, it's automatically a dead ball. It's another corner or it's a goal kick. And at that point, the time ran out. But the referees didn't blow their whistle. That ball was still hanging around, and I think both teams got confused. Ball ended up, it looked like, in the back of the net. So at that point, we couldn't really tell, and we thought it went in. But the referees, got it under control. The head referee talked to the official, the assistant referee, and they made the right decision, and St. Joe's gets the win.
Well, what happened for me, and I think where I got most confused, because it was very clear from where we were that it hit the crossbar on the field goal post, but based on the way the last 2 minutes of that game went, I honestly just assumed the refs were going to stop the clock again and let Staples try one more time.
I know.
It was bizarre to me. I can respect that there were a couple of times St. Joe's was very lackadaisical, and rightfully so, took their time going to throw balls in for goal kicks. They obviously played well just playing keep away in the corner, but that's part of the game. I found it a little weird that the refs or the officials were electing to stop clocks for set pieces for Staples.
For a corner kick.
Yeah.
Time runs during a corner kick. That is very odd. And frankly, St. Joe's is very lucky that they got away with that, because imagine if Staples scored.
Yeah.
That's an issue. And I think, you look back at that game, this goes back to what I've been talking about with some of the coaches here in the FCAC. They like to see the referees get a little better here, and they've made some shaky calls throughout the season. And again, that's a call that I have never seen. You're not supposed to stop the clock on a corner kick. I don't care how much time is left in the game. That clock's supposed to be out, and it was just an odd play, but St. Joe's ultimately gets the win.
Just bizarre across the board.
It is bizarre.
And it was a game as well, I thought, that they allowed to be very physical.
Oh, yeah.
We saw several plays throughout that game. I mean, one, Staples legitimately was robbed of a PK on a girl being taken down in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And it set the tone for the whole game. It was very physical. There were a lot of girls who got banged up, had to be taken off the field. That also slowed the game down with injury stoppages. I don't know enough to critique the officials for either boys or girls soccer, but at times it felt like you were watching it looked like a rugby match out there at times.
And that's why you go back to what he did and let the time stop. Maybe, he keeps the time on his watch as well. Obviously a little bit of stoppage time, but again, it's so bizarre. Never really see that happen before. But you're right. I mentioned it during the broadcast, and at times I kind of found myself to be a little speechless, not sure what to say after some plays that he didn't necessarily blow his whistle for, and it did get very physical at times, especially in the middle part of the field when some of the center midfielders were colliding with each other during 50-50 balls. There were some little bit of nasty tackles that if you maybe have a different referee, he's calling that every time.
I respect it's a championship game, but you've got to call it. Every game needs to be called the same way. There's a age-old tale that you get into the NHL playoffs and referees put the whistles away. That's not the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
It's the same with any FCX sport. Once you're call it the same way you called the regular season. They're high school kids. Hold them accountable and force them to play the game the right way. We're running out of time here. Just quickly, Kevin, you talk about the girls' soccer tournaments, CIAC, Double L bracket. Which team do you think is in the best position from the FCAC to make a run at this year's title?
Well, you got Staples getting that first round bye. They'll take on the winner of Conard and Fairfield Ludlow. I like Staples. I know they fell short to St. Joe's in the FCAC title. They get a little bit of, they have a good chance here because they will play the winner of Fairfield Ward and maybe Trumbull. Because Trumbull, if they beat West Haven in the first round, that's another FCAC, spot right there in the second round. I like Staples. Can Ridgefield bounce back? That's what I want to see as well. They're going to face the winner of Southington and Hall. They have a little bit of a tough road because they could potentially face Enfield. Enfield sitting the number 2 seed. They've been talented, but I really like Ridgefield and Staples. Staples, I think, gets a little bit more of an advantage. I think I like their road to the final a little bit more.
Forget Enfield. I'm going with my boy Angelo Singerliotis, coach of the Lady Senators at Brian McMahon. Ooh. They're going to take down Cheshire round 1 today. They come back and take down number 2 Enfield on Thursday. Kev, we're out of time. Obviously, make sure you're back with us tonight. 8 o'clock, Kate Chaplensky hosts our election night coverage. Gavin Coleman, Frank Granito. We'll see you next time on Nutmeg Sports on the AJM Network.